Man, welcome to another edition of Let's Talk Sports, guys. I'm gonna be talking real slow tonight because I'm kind of beat up in the head. Got too much going on, and don't feel like I have control over it. So, with all that being said, we got a great show for y'all tonight. Tonight's gonna be a little different. We're gonna be talking about some fan reactions, some fan backlash, some fans talking to me on social media because y'all think when I'm saying stuff that I'm just making it up. No, fans, there are people, football fans out there that talk to me on a daily, and we're gonna get into that tonight. Before we do, I have a message to all parents, guardians, people who are responsible for children. Okay, I witnessed something the other day, and I thought it would be great to share it with you guys. When I do my reels, if you follow me, I do reels, and when I do those reels, I normally go to a park to do those reels because my backyard is freaking too small, and it just doesn't look right for me to do a background. Long story, but I go to the park. So while I'm there, I'm getting my words together. I wish I could tell you I get it in one take. I do that reel, it's just one time. No, it's not like that. Sometimes it takes 10, 12 times. So I'm going over and over. Well, I noticed this young lady and three kids, two boys, one girl between the ages of 5 and 8. They're with her. And they get to the park and they start playing in the kids area. And she looks down at her cell phone and she's looking at her phone. She's looking at social media, whatever she's looking at on her phone. I can't see it. But I'm doing my video. So I look up 10 minutes later. Those kids are over there by me. Now let me explain something to y'all. This park is big. It's huge. If they're over there by me, you have a long distance to go if you had to get to those kids. So now this person that brought them there, I don't know if it was their mother or their guardian, is still looking at her cell phone. How do I know that? Because when I see the kids by me, I look over there to her and she's still looking down at her phone. She never stopped looking at her phone. They're over there by me. Now, all I can think about, which is, I know it's crazy, but there's people out there snatching kids today. And the parking lot is to my left. And I'm closer to the parking lot than I am to their parent. So if somebody would come snatch one of those kids and get in a car, she wouldn't even see it. And if she did see it, it would be too late. The point I'm trying to make is that's true. I've seen that with my own eyes. The point I'm trying to make is that what's on your phone that important? I mean, really, kids don't stand in one spot. They move and they move quickly. And if you're not watching, they're out of your sight. Now, my 8-year-old can get out of my sight in my own house like that. I'll be talking to him and he's gone. And I didn't even see him leave. Get off your damn cell phones. Get off your cell phones and let's be more responsible. I had to say that. That's all I'm going to say about that. With all that being said, let's talk about some freaking sports. Look here, look here. I got my boy. What I'm gonna be doing tonight is different from any show I've ever done. This is one of the first shows that I did what I call fan interaction. Some of the things that I've been seeing on Facebook and people talking to me in conversations that I have in groups that I'm in and different conversations that we have. And they be quite interesting. I must admit, it's really entertaining. Now, I'm gonna start with somebody, my homeboy, big supporter of the show. Um, he asked me to do this. And this is a little bit out of my show because I'm really going to talk about Dak Prescott and Jalen Hurts and why you guys are so fascinated about who's the best. And I'm gonna give y'all my take on that. Okay. But before I do that, he gave me his predictions. He gave his 2023 NFC pre-camp record predictions. This is going to be fun. All right. Now, this is his freaking opinion. He has the right to that opinion. just like I have the right to disagree with it. So let's start at the top. We're gonna do the NFC East because that's what we do in the whole training camp on in, right? This is what this guy have the Cowboys record. His name is James. I'm gonna repost this on my page so you guys can see it. He have the Dallas Cowboys, the NFC East. He have the Dallas Cowboys winning the East at 14-3. I'm gonna say it again. He got the Dallas Cowboys at 14-3. Because that's basically saying that the Dallas Cowboys, who didn't win the division last year, who was, I think, a fifth seed. Yeah, they were a fifth seed last year in the playoffs, are going to come back this year, basically with the same team. I didn't see that. I seen some improvements, but I don't know what kind of impact they're going to have just yet, or will they even have any impact. And they're going to go from that to 14-3. Yeah, I do understand the Super Bowl champions last year lost 3 games. So basically what he's saying is Dallas is the best team in the NFL. He's delusional. I would be shocked if the Dallas Cowboys win more than 10 games. I do have them making the playoffs. I do not have them winning their division. And I don't even have them winning more than 10 games. They get 11, I'll be, yeah, that's about it. That's just how I feel about that. I mean, and I'm saying that with all due respect. It's just what I see. I don't see you. You don't have a good enough quarterback, which is what I'm gonna get to later, to take you 14-3 in the game today. Now, when he did it, when he had that monster record, he did 13-3. That's the best record he got, and you saw he lost in the divisional round against Green Bay. I'm just saying. Okay. He had the Philadelphia Eagles 13-4. He close on that one. I got the Eagles somewhere around 13-4, 12-5. Giants, totally underestimating them. We got them at 9-8. I got the Giants winning at least 10 games. At least 10. Commanders, sleeping on them, but not that far. I don't know what Howell is going to do or be, so it's hard for me to predict what the Commanders are going to do. What I do know is the Commanders will run the rock, and they will be consistent with that. So let's just see how that all plays out. But he got the Commanders 5-12. I'm gonna be a question mark on that one because I got a lot of respect for Eric Bieniemy. So we're gonna see how that plays out. All right, so let's go on to the next division. He got this, the NFC North. He got the Vikings 10-7. I kind of agree with that one. He got the Detroit Lions 9-8. He's straight on crack. The Detroit Lions are going to be much better than 9-8. The Detroit Lions are going to win 10, 11 games next year. See, I don't understand how when we look at football, we're looking at it from a past perspective. We're not seeing when those teams are starting to improve and get better and better. Look, the Detroit Lions was in the top 5 offenses in the league last year. Their only big problem was their defense. They could score on anybody. So if that defense can rank somewhere in the middle, 15, 16, 17, now they're a powerhouse. So, yeah, the Detroit Lions record is going to be a little bit better than 9-8. I got them somewhere around 10, 11 games. Green Bay Packers, we agree. 89, 9-8. That's why I got Green Bay. So we agree on that. Chicago Bears, 5-12. Again, he's on crack. The Chicago Bears are going to be better than 5-12. The Chicago Bears may win 9 or even 10 games. It depends on how they gel, how long it takes them to gel. Do not be surprised if the Chicago Bears make the playoffs. Just remember I said that. You underestimate Chicago big time. And then this is my favorite one right here. For Saints fans that are watching, this dude got the New Orleans Saints 9-8. Lord have mercy. Okay. I understand the logic, though. The Saints really offensively last year was trash. And I can say that because I'm a Saints fan. Their offense was trash. So, but their defense was really, really good. I mean, high elite defense. They bring in Derek Hall. They got some young studs, some real studs coming up in the game. If they can bring it all together, stay away from the freaking injuries, I got them much better than 9-8. Yeah, I'm not saying it just because I'm a fan. See, the Saints weren't dismantled. The Saints are still intact. So, in other words, they didn't dismantle the team. They're still intact. So, I'm gonna get the Saints a little bit better than 9-8, somewhere around 10-7, 11 games. Carolina, we totally agree on. Tampa Bay, we totally agree on. As a matter of fact, Carolina and Tampa Bay may not win but 5. Atlanta Falcons, I got them somewhere around there, but mainly because Atlanta's going to win some games. Atlanta's going to play some people hard. I just don't think they're ready to win yet. So, yeah, we kind of agree on the Atlanta thing. Now, he got the West on here, but for some reason it was cut out, so I can't see the NFC West. So I don't know what his predictions was. But, James, if you're listening, let me see if you're listening. Hold on. I can see if you're listening. Let me get right back on. Let me go right off. This technology is something, huh? Oh man, I'm gonna will it for y'all. Let me see if he said anything. No, better yet, can I see it? Technology is something, huh? Oh man, I'm gonna will it for y'all. Nope, I don't see any comment. I don't see any comments by him. So I'm just gonna tell you, if you're listening and you're watching this, we don't totally disagree. I don't see any comments by him. We don't totally disagree, but we disagree. I just said it like that. But thank you for that take, man. That wasn't even part of the show. I wasn't even going to do that. Now let me get to what I really want to do. I'm going to show y'all. I'm going to talk to y'all about an interaction that's been going on for about 3 or 4 days. It's quite interesting. And this is warn you up front. In order for you to get everything that I'm going to say, I have to read Mr. Harris' post to you guys. And it's a long post. So try not to get lost. But believe me when I tell you, this is worth talking about. Believe me when I tell you that. So hold on just a second. Let me get to that real quick. Don't leave. I ain't going nowhere. I'm about to show y'all some things. Let me find his post. Okay, here we go. All right, let me get to the post itself. Thing. All right, here we go. All right, y'all, listen up. Listen up, football fans, because this is a young kid spitting on social media. He gave me his thoughts. Now, I respect this kid because even though we don't agree with nothing that he's saying, he's really young. And he seems to know a little bit about the game. So I'll give him that. But as you're going to see, we don't agree. So let me try to read this post as best I can. Y'all know I can't read. I heard something come through my phone. I don't know what it was, but I heard something. Anyway, I remember, this is his post. His name is Charles Harris. He said, I remember there was a time. He said there was time. He meant there was a time. I remember there was a time where people thought Melvin Gordon and Todd Gurley were better than Zeke, all because of 1 year of them having better stats. Now, what I'm doing is I'm reading this entire post. So I'm telling y'all it's a lot, but try to take this in. Y'all hear his point, okay? That's why I wanted to do this slow. What we find in football is the players who consistently show us who they are, perform well, usually stay true to that. And I would say that's why Dak Prescott, or Dak is what he said, is better than Hurts overall. 1 year doesn't define your career, negative or positive. He has a good point right there. But let's not forget, John Elway and Peyton Manning were horrible their first year. I'm just saying. 1 year doesn't define your career, negative or positive, which some of you dumbass Eagle fans, 95% of you guys, these doggone Eagle fans, tend to forget. In 2021, Hurts was a top 20 quarterback. He was okay at best, which is true. When we said at best, let me keep on. Okay. In 2020, a year you all love to skip over because he didn't play the whole year. My question is, why didn't he play the rest of the year? Question mark. Didn't he have the same opportunity Dak had? Question mark. They were certain that they were. I'm sorry. I'm just going to correct it for them. They were certain that Wentz was done coming into that year, especially when he got hurt again. If Hurts played well, which he didn't, as he fumbled 9 times in 5 games and got benched based on performance because Wentz, who was playing shitty, was playing leagues better than him. I remember the year he's talking about. First of all, Wentz wasn't playing that much better. I just wanted to bring that point up. The Eagles would have gladly given him the job, but he fucking sucks. Excuse my language, I'm just reading it. Dak, on the other hand, still with this year, this year was included in the top 10 all-time TD interception ratio, so calling him interception king is statistically inaccurate, but I understand you guys don't have rudimentary, damn, that's hard to say, rudimentary, whatever, understanding of statistics. And the funny thing about it is, young man, even though your stats may be accurate, it means nothing. I'm going to talk about all that, as you can see when I rebuttal this. Inaccurate, but understand that guys don't have a rudimentary understanding of statistics. And he stole the job from Romo, a quarterback the Cowboys actually wanted to keep, unlike the Wentz situation. Jalen Hurts is 2-2 in the playoffs. The 2 wins are against Josh fucking Johnson, a practice squad player, and Daniel Jones, a player who's played more games than he's thrown TDs. That's funny. His losses are from broken Mahomes and Brady. While Dak has lost more, he has always played competent quarterbacks on the opposing end every time. Adversity and context matter. Context matters. And he's beaten Brady and Russell Wilson in his 2 games. He has beaten Brady and Russell Wilson in his 2 games. While I know most Eagle fans will complain about the length of the post because most of you guys have the reading comprehension of an honor roll first grader. Again, he's talking about the Eagle fans. I am not saying that Hurts is trash or that he can't ascend. I'm just arguing that one-hit wonders do happen, and until we see him perform at this level consistently on another 1-2 years at least, I don't see how you put him over Dak. Did he play better than Dak this year? Yes, but if I compare them with their careers in mind, the numbers speak for themselves. You can't. They haven't been playing the same amount of years, so you can't compare them. That's a statement you should just take out of this, as far as stats go, okay? Which is what I was trying to tell you. Dak is better overall. And before you Eagle fans say he made it to the Super Bowl, Dan Marino never won a Super Bowl. Trent Dilfer did. It's a bad analogy. It's just a bad analogy because what you're basically saying is that Dan Marino went to the Super Bowl and played against Joe Montana and got drummed. Okay, Trent Dilfer he won the Super Bowl as a quarterback, but he was never part of the team. Really, it was the defense. The defense won the Super Bowl for Baltimore that year. I think he won it. I'm pretty sure it was Baltimore. And if it was Tampa, no, it wasn't Tampa Bay. But if it was Tampa Bay, you know what? It still was the defense. So whoever he wanted with. So you can't use those analogies. Dak and both of those players, Trent Dilfer and Dan Marino, made it to the Super Bowl. Dak never made it to the Super Bowl. So you cannot compare him to somebody who did. But I understand what he was trying to say. He said, did he better? And okay. Does that automatically make him better? No. Why? Because context matters. I am not impressed with you all beating Daniel Jones and Josh Johnson as your only playoff wins with Hurts. I don't care what round you got to. And for the context, the quarterbacks that Dak has lost to are Aaron Rodgers in his rookie year, Jared Goff, that team went to the Super Bowl and was scoring like 35, 40 a game. Jimmy G as a quarterback who's been in the Super Bowl and almost went again that same year. Brock Purdy, who was on a 10-game win streak, he beat Brady, probably one of the weakest playoff teams, but he's the GOAT nonetheless, and Russell Wilson Hawks. Jalen got fucking embarrassed by the Bucks and lost to a broken Mahomes and beat Josh Johnson and Daniel Jones in post. I know it's a lot to take in, but I hope y'all hang in here with me. Listen, this is going to get real good. This is my response to that. I'm sorry it's not that long because it doesn't have to be. Charles Harris, listen, my friend, because I'm only going to say this once. Stats only make a player money. What the hell is going on? I'm hearing an echo in my doggone phone. Okay, there it is. Stats only make a player money. Nothing else. I mean that. You guys keep putting these stats up there. What does a freaking stat mean? Okay, a stat tells a person how good they are. No, a stat is a monitor for you to be able to talk about numbers. That has zero to do with if that player is great or not. Is that player elite or not? I'll get to that. So stop with that. Listen, Brian Sipe had good numbers. Dan Fouts had some of the best numbers ever. They never won anything. Nothing. Some of y'all probably don't even know who those two guys are. So stats, you miss me with that. Okay, but I understand why you guys use them, and I do believe analytics play a good role into football, mostly for betting. But I'm gonna keep the eye test. The eye test is much better. Jalen Hurts, I said, Charles Harris, listen, my friend, because I'm only going to say this once. Stats only make a player money, nothing else. Stats don't win games, especially big games. And in Dak's entire career, he has shown time and time again he can't win the big games. That's a fact. Jalen Hurts' rookie season wasn't good by far, but he improved drastically his second year to the tune of the Super Bowl. Dak hasn't sniffed the NFC Championship. To your point about who Jalen played in the playoffs and beat holds no merit whatsoever, simply because Jalen don't decide who he plays in the freaking playoffs. He can't decide who's going to be quarterback for the team or who he plays. He just got to play. And whoever's in front of him, he got to beat them. Miss me with that. So stop telling me about who Dak played and who he lost to. That means nothing. All right, so now, Jalen Hurts' rookie season wasn't good by far, but he improved drastically his second year to the Super Bowl. Dak hasn't even sniffed the NFC Championship. To your point about who Jalen played in the playoffs and beat holds no merit whatsoever, simply because Jalen don't decide who he plays in a playoff game. Dak Prescott is the second coming of Danny White. This is me talking to him. Now, a lot of y'all know who Danny White is, but if you're a true Dallas Cowboy fan, you will know who Danny White is, and you also know that he couldn't win the big one, don't you? I'm just saying. He's the second coming of Danny White. A lot of stats, but can't win the big one. Hell, at least Danny White played in the NFC chip 3 times in a row. So I give him mad props for that. At least he got to the chip. All right, just saying. So stop trying to compare a quarterback like Dak to Jalen, because it doesn't compare, not just to Philly fans, to all fans. How many times do a player have to show you he is not elite before you accept it? Dak Prescott is a game manager. He's okay. He's good. Any quarterback that plays in the NFL, man, they are good. But he ain't elite. Elite quarterbacks do elite stuff when games are on the line. And until I see that, and listen, that quarterback may not even win the game, but it won't be because of his play. It will be because of something else. And I haven't even seen that out of Dak for once. And that was in the Green Bay Packer game in the divisional playoffs when Dak played well above his level. I ain't played like that since in the big game. I'm just saying. Okay, look, if Jalen Hurts suck ass for the rest of his career, this is me finishing my post, which he won't. He could still say he played in the Super Bowl. Can Dak say that? Until that changes, stop with the stat post, because stats doesn't matter when the game is on the line. Just the player. Oh, and before you say, I'm not a Philly. Before you say it, I'm not a Philly fan. I'm just a football fan. I'm a Jalen Hurts fan. This is my response to him. Here's his response to me. It's a lot of them, okay? He says, so basically, he's talking to me now. He said, so basically, you're saying is that Trent Difford is better than Dan Marino. He's still missing my point. He's still trying to compare Trent Difford and Dan Marino. You can't. You cannot compare them to this situation because they both played in Super Bowls. I'm just saying. By your logic, Dan Marino can't say he won the big game. Trent Difford can say that. He's trying to say that Dan Marino is a much better quarterback than Trent Difford, and he's right. But you cannot use that because Dak is nowhere near Dan Marino. If it was Dak and Trent Dilfer, I always see them as about equal. I'm just saying. I mean, as far as statistically, neither one of them really impressed me. Okay. Now, and when you asked Jalen, he said, "You see how the logic lacks critical thinking." He's telling me I can't think. That's an insult. I guess it was supposed to bother me. The context matters, and when they ask Jalen, "Who did you beat?" He's gonna say, "Practice squad player, led team, and Daniel Jones, a team that was 2-5-1 coming into the playoffs." The context matters. For example, Joe Burrow. Listen to what he says. He said, for example, Joe Burrow went and lost in the Super Bowl just like Jalen. True. The difference is Joe Burrow had to play Pat Mahomes and Josh Allen Bills to get there. And he played against a fully healthy Matt Stafford in the Super Bowl. Like I said, Eagle fans, the context matters. If you beat up a 2 and 12-year-old, beat up 2 to 12-year-olds, you would be right that you won 2 fights. That's not the same as beating The Rock and Bruce Lee. The argument is stupid for all those reasons. Number one, Joe Burrow, when he made it to the Super Bowl, did not beat Josh Allen. Joe Burrow beat Derek Carr. This is for the hearing impaired. Derek Carr, Tannehill, and Mahomes. Josh Allen wasn't in that mix. I say that for a reason. When you're making points like this, be sure you're right. Because when you're trying to use the Trent Dilfer and Dan Marino scenario, it doesn't go well. You're trying to say, because of the competition, Jalen Hurts went to the Super Bowl, but you're excluding the point that even with that low competition, Jalen Hurts played at a high level. And when he met arguably the best quarterback in the game, he went head to head with him and did not blink. Jalen Hurts is the MVP of that game if Mahomes don't win. And you don't understand. Not only have we never seen Dak Prescott do that, we probably never will. Not in a Dallas uniform. But Jalen did it his second year. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Let's continue. He comes back. At this point right here, he still wants to talk. But somebody else then jumped in, but I'm not going to read their comments. He's a Dallas fan too, and he's saying, he's talking to him and saying, "Hey, Charles, there was nothing wrong with the 49ers defense who held Cowboys to 12 points." He's right. And no touchdowns, while Jalen Hurts lit them up for 31. He's right. See, you're right. It's the context. You're not seeing everything. Now, I come back and I tell Charles Harris that Harry Trinkle told him that. Now I'm talking to Charles Harris now. I said not much critical thinking needed. And your Trent Dilfer, Dan Marino comparison is amateur at best. Why? Because both played in the Super Bowl and both played in the conference chip. Dak didn't. So you can't even use the analogy. Dak, Jalen Hurts, you can't use the analogy. It's just stuff. Who you play is a cop-out, and you know it. But you will do anything to justify that horrible play in big games, period. See, you can throw all the stats up in the world, baby, but where your heart at when the game's on the line? Let me tell you what Dak does. He throws an interception, or he fumbles, or he gets sacked. You guys, Dallas fans, you're not crazy. You see these freaking games too. You know I'm telling the truth. Matter of fact, I sit down on my couch and when the game's on the line and say, I'm just going to wait and see how long it's going to take for him to throw the interception. Does that make Dak Prescott a bad quarterback? No. It just makes him a game manager and not elite. Because elite quarterbacks throws touchdowns, drive their team down the field, scores, wins the game, becomes the hero. Bam, bam, bam. Everybody loves him and respect him. When that game's on the line, the Dallas Cowboys in big games, he's had 2 opportunities just in the last 2 years against the same team to drive down the field and show everybody he was a elite quarterback. And what did he do? One, he ran out of time. The other one, he threw an interception. Y'all need to miss me with that. When I see him change that, then I'll say, okay, Dak is elite. I promise you, I'll be the first to say it. But it's been 9 years now, guys. When exactly was is he waiting to make his move? Or is he is what he is? He is what you see. I believe what I see until I see something different. I'm just saying. Okay, so now I say who you play is a cop out because it is. They have no control of who you play in the playoffs. But you would do anything to justify it. Your entire post is an excuse for Dak Prescott. Don't get me wrong. I see what you're trying to say, which I do, but it's an excuse. Jalen I'm sorry. Jalen can only control Philly, not who Philly plays. His job is to win whomever he plays. Here's your context critical thinker. Dak played Mr. Irrelevant. That's Brock Purdy. He was the last one drafted in the draft. You can't use the scenario that, oh, he had won 10 straight. No. He's still Mr. Irrelevant. But anybody who don't know, that means you're the last person to be drafted in the NFL. You don't even supposed to make the team. Talking about lead a team to a Super Bowl or to a playoff game or win a playoff game against somebody who's supposed to be elite like Dak Prescott. See, you can't wave over that. That means something. And I said, critical thinker, Dak played Mr. Irrelevant in the division round and lost. He's talking to me now. No, your assessment is stupid because Hurts only won one more game than Dak did in the playoffs. The same can be said about Trent Dilfer to Dan Marino. Okay, listen to the statement, guys. He says, because Hurts only won one more game than Dak did in the playoffs. Dak been in it 9 years. He's been there too. How can you just gloss over that? That's why your statement is stupid. Think about what you're saying. I'm saying the reason why I believe that Jalen Hurts is better and elite is because of what he did in 2 years. Because see, everybody don't come in and do what Mahomes did. Some people take a couple of years, like Josh Allen. He took a couple of years. I mean, Joe Burrow got hurt, But look, after about that second year, they got healthy. Look what happened. They became elite, didn't they? Dak's been doing it 9 years, and he's still not elite. Just saying. Now, he says, Trent Dilfer, okay. Then he says, you're trying to make it different because you're trying to dodge the elephant in the room. The point is the accomplishment has to come with context. Trent Dilfer was carried by the Ravens, so it was the Ravens. The Ravens defense, just like Jalen was. What? You do know the Philadelphia Eagles was damn near averaging 30 points a game if they wasn't averaging 30 points. You do know that, right? You cannot say a team is being carried by the defense when the offense is freaking scoring 30 points a game. You have no idea what you're talking about. You're just talking. You just want to have a debate. Y'all hear me when I say this? Listen to what I said. The point is the accomplishment has to come with context. Trent Dilfer was carried by the Ravens just like Jalen was carried Jalen was just like Jalen was carried. Like he's saying the defense is carrying Jalen Hurts. Anyway, y'all can look that up yourself. Jalen played the weakest competition that we've seen probably in 20 years to get to the Super Bowl. The Dallas Cowboys played the same people he played. You're in the same division. So you're telling me that Dallas played the weakest people too. I'm just saying, the last 20 years to get to the Super Bowl, and he was averaging roughly 110 yards passing, backup numbers. In those games leading to the Super Bowl, you're smoking crack. If you think Jalen was the reason why you all got to the Super Bowl, ain't no you all. I'm not a Philadelphia fan. And Jalen was the reason. That's why he should have been co-MVP. Everybody else knew that. I don't know what's going on with you, though. You all got there because you played Daniel Jones and Josh Johnson. And Jalen doesn't control who he plays, but if you think that means I'm going to imagine that he had any competition in the playoffs, that's wild. The idea that getting to the Super Bowl poses the same difficulty, no matter who you play, is wild. I'm going to be real. I was impressed when you all won the first Super Bowl. It ain't you all with a backup. I believe you all played the Falcons. Anyway, and Brady, that was impressive. Cowboys fans would try and say it was a fluke. It wasn't. But to say the amount of success is different when Trent different when one more game in the playoff Super Bowl, then Marino is logically inconsistent. Marino played 12 years. Different played about the same. You cannot compare. You can't even use that analogy. Because Jalen only won one more game. Jalen won only one more game than Dak in 2 years, not 9. Because and the people who he played were Daniel Jones, a quarterback who throws less TDs than games, played a team that came into the playoffs decimated by injury that started of 7-3 tumbling into 9-7-1 or something like that. And the Niners had no QB. While it's not his fault, he played weak ass competition. It doesn't change that who he got there wasn't impressive. And the stats show he didn't ball out. So what's the argument? Jalen balled out in every game in the playoffs, man. What are you talking about? And the Super Bowl. I mean, you can sit here and say whatever you want to say. You ran into the 49ers because you did not win the division. That's on you. That's on the Cowboys. If you win the division, you would have been playing the Giants. But you didn't. You know why you lost the division? You know who you lost to? The Philadelphia Eagles. The team that you're trying to say that their quarterback is not better than yours. You said it was context. I'm just giving it to you. I mean, just saying, you could have stopped all that by just winning the division. The Dallas Cowboys winning the East last year, they get a smoother road to the Super Bowl, right? I know Dallas would have loved to play the Giants. They own them. Then they'd have had to play the Eagles in the NFC Championship because the Eagles would have still been there because the Eagles would have beat the 49ers with Brock Purdy. I'm just saying. I'm just saying, period, okay? I say, Charles, you absolutely can't. You absolutely cannot debate with delusion. You win. Okay. This is his take back to me. You're taking the delusion. Your take is the delusional one. The difference between winning and losing the Super Bowl is one more win. That is objectively true. Dak won a playoff game. Hurts won 2. That is objectively true. The difference, that ain't objectively true. Jalen Hurts did win 2 playoff games. Dak Prescott has won 2 playoff games. One of them did it in 2 years. The other one did it in 8. That's the truth. It wasn't Jalen, by the way. What is the objective? That 110 passing yards and backup numbers. You should never try to really judge rookie quarterbacks, but since you're going to do that, we've already you beat that dead horse up. I'm just sharing this with y'all because you guys are going to be talking to me in the group, and you're trying to give me your points of why you were right. And then this young man here, every time he's speaking, he's basically just repeating himself. I mean, he's not giving me anything new. So that ends that part of the debate. Then it gets a little bit more interesting later on. God dog it. For some reason, it don't let me get there. I guess the point I'm trying to make is, guys, it's simple. I'm gonna make sure I don't have any comments, and then I'm gonna make sure I don't have any comments. Hold on. And then I'll make sure I don't have any comments. Hold on. Robert Richard, can't wait till you talk about the Saints, my brother. Me either, man. Me either, bro. Terrence Lewis, Robert Richard, we were watching with you. Talk about the Saints, my brother. Me? I love talking about the Saints, man. I really, really do. And I can't wait till I get to that division because believe me when I tell you, the Saints are gonna slap some people around this year, and people don't believe it, but just remember you heard it here. But I gotta say this to y'all, so y'all hear me out, okay? And then I'm gonna be through with the Dak Prescott, Jalen Hurts thing. I am not taking anything away from Dak Prescott. I was a fan of his journey. I am a fan of his journey. How he was able to take over the Cowboys and be successful with the Cowboys. But let me tell y'all something, Dallas fans, if y'all haven't seen it, the Dak Prescott, who I believed had the ability to be elite when I first seen him play, has diminished. I mean, Dak used to be a freaking horse, man. If Dak didn't have nobody open, he'd just run the ball and run over you. You notice Dak don't run that much no more, do you? Don't you? Dak used to throw the ball very confidently and hard. You don't see all that. Now I'm not sitting here telling you that Dak Prescott is not going to win some games or be good this year. Dak Prescott going to light them stats up, man. That's what game managers do. I mean, that's why I say we should just call him Dak Cousins or Kirk Prescott, because that's what game managers do. They just load up stats, man, and give y'all something to talk about. So let me just tell all those who are watching and who's going to watch later what I mean by that line statement. My favorite quarterback in the league is Patrick Mahomes. From the first time I laid eyes on him, I knew I was a fan because he's elite. I love watching Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow is freaking elite. I seen the Kansas City Chiefs beat up Joe Burrow so bad in that AFC Championship. And this dude was standing in their pocket, just dropping dimes. That's elite, guys. Josh Allen going head to head with Mahomes 2 years ago in Arrowhead. Man, these people showed me that they're elite. And they continue to show me that they're elite. And Lamar Jackson, how many of y'all can literally say that Lamar Jackson has done so much with so little? I cannot wait to see him this year. Justin Herbert. Oh, Lord, I seen Justin Herbert. I mean, seriously, if you didn't see the game, go back and see it. I seen the Kansas City game when Justin Herbert got hit, and it just tore up. It's just you can see it tore up his back, or it's real case. I'm sorry, just tore up his real case. Right now, I've had fractured ribs before. You can't breathe at all. Like really, you're trying to catch your breath the whole time. If you remember the next play out when he got hurt, he couldn't even pick his arm up to throw the ball. And I'm still just saying to myself, oh yeah, this is over. This is over. And then he drops back and throws a freaking dime for a touchdown. You know how much pain it had to be? You know how much pain? That's elite, guys. You have never seen Dak Prescott do these things. That's why I keep trying. Somebody tried to convince me he's better in the league. Well, that's because he's a game manager. Listen, game managers don't win Super Bowls no more, guys. It's elite. Tom Brady. I watched Tom Brady so many times get beat up in football games. I pick one, especially big games. That dude just stands in there and rifles it. Wham, wham. You beat him up the whole game. You're trying to figure out, why can't I beat this guy? That's elite. Y'all hear these quarterbacks I'm naming? The difference between them and Dak Prescott is when the game's on the line, they want the freaking ball and they do something with it. That's what elite is to me. That's what an elite quarterback is to me. You can keep them damn stats. Let me explain something to y'all. And this is a true story. You can keep stats, okay? When it comes to a quarterback's heart and ability to win games, you don't think he should win. When Buffalo scored on Kansas City, it was 13 seconds left. My wife got up and said, I'm going to bed. It's over. I looked at my wife and I swear she can vouch to this. I said, this game ain't over. This game ain't over. I said, that dude just has the ability to win games you don't think he can win. Y'all know the rest, right? I can find moments like that in big games that every single one of those guys done it to. That maybe not 13 seconds, maybe 30 seconds or 29 seconds. Can you name just one big game Dak Prescott did that in? Because until I see that, he does not compare Jalen Hurts is elite. And I'm not talking about 1 year. You're looking at stats. I'm telling you what I've seen. And you can see it too if you just open your freaking eyes. Let me explain something to you. A second-year quarterback. Do not go into the Super Bowl. Score 3 touchdowns on the ground. Throw, I think, 2. The dude damn near had 100 yards rushing and over 300 yards passing. And you know what? Those are stats. But he impacted that game. And yes, he did fumble. That was his only error. But other than that, that dude was battling Mahomes. I'm talking, I didn't know who was going to win that game. Yeah, of course, I had my money on the Chiefs, but I did not know the Chiefs was going to win, especially going into that 8-minute mark in the fourth quarter. I'm just telling you right now. I kept saying it's going to come down to who has the ball last. And Mahomes did the right thing, not giving him the ball back, because I believe if he'd got the ball back with substantial time, he could have probably beat the Chiefs. They knew that. That's why he didn't get the ball back. The point I'm trying to make is, to me, guys, elite quarterbacks, or the quarterbacks that have the ability to pull their team up in big games and just say, I'm going to put you on my back. That's what elite means from football to basketball. But when you're talking about quarterbacks, do I have Dak Prescott in my top 15 quarterbacks? Yeah, I do. But in my top 5 or top 10, that means elite. Especially of all time, not even close. But in the league today, yeah, I have him somewhere around 11 or 15. More like 12 and 15. Because he's a game manager, and I'm just not a fan of game managers. I'm a fan of elite quarterbacks. Anybody who watches my show or follow me, you can see my videos that I make. I'm talking about elite. You very seldom see me talking about anybody mediocre, unless it's in a negative way. But elite is elite. And believe me when I tell you, Jalen Hurts is elite. Dak Prescott is a game manager. The minute the Dallas fans get that in their thick head, then they won't hold him such as high standards. If the Dallas Cowboys cannot run the football, move the ball on the ground, allow him to play action and throw, Dallas is going to lose. The minute Dallas fall behind by 20, 25 points, it's over. He's not coming back because he's a game manager. That is not elite. Stop trying to compare that dude to Jalen Hurts, man. Jalen Hurts is elite. It's just that simple. Now, I hope y'all enjoyed this show. I'm going to start doing this more often. And to my Saints fans out there, I am getting ready to do the division for the Saints after I finish the NFC East, so stay tuned for that. We're moving on from the Dallas Cowboys. That's why I want this show to be special. We're going to go ahead and we're going to swim through the Giants and the Commanders. I'm sorry, my bad. We're getting ready to talk about the Eagles next. And yeah, y'all want to be here for that. Dallas fans, you want to be here for that. And because I'm going to tell you why they're better than you. And I'm going to tell you why I hold them up here. Like, really, everything in my mind right now is telling me that the Philadelphia Eagles probably going to repeat. The only thing that keeps me from making that prediction is the San Francisco 49ers and who they start at quarterback. But you better watch out for teams like the Bears and the Lions, the Saints. Y'all remember I'm telling you this. I'm not making this up. You can see it brewing if you just open your eyes. With all that being said, guys, thank you for tuning in. I hope you start tuning in. We normally do this on Wednesday nights. We normally do this on Thursday nights, but I've been trying to switch the days to Wednesday because y'all know when football season started, I cannot do it on Thursday night. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to stay on Thursday nights now. I'm just going to keep it Thursday until the preseason start. Also, there is a good chance, God say the same. There is a good chance if anybody wants to sit down and talk some shop with me on camera, as long as you're not a fanatic and trying to, say the goddamn MF word every 5 minutes. And the only reason I do that, guys, is because I like my kids to watch the show. I'm not saying you can't curse on the show. I'm just saying like every other word don't have to be the MF. and you want to sit down and chop shop to me. I'm trying to make it. Um, at the Hyatt Regency for the New Orleans Saints Kansas City Chiefs first preseason game. And I'm gonna try to broadcast out of the Hyatt Regency. That hasn't happened yet. I'll keep y'all posted on that. There's a lot of things. A lot of good things has to happen for that. I'm gonna sit down with a few of you guys who follow me from the Saints page, and we're just gonna talk shop, man, on camera. If you're not scared of the camera. With all that being said, look, I appreciate everything y'all do. Keep watching those reels. I got a lot of good ones coming out soon. To the Dallas Cowboy fans, let me get something straight. I'm just gonna say this for the record. I don't dislike everything about the Dallas Cowboys. I don't dislike everything about their fans. Some of their fans, I'm sorry. What I do dislike is the delusional perspective that some of you guys have. It's crazy. If you just see the game, see your team for what they are, you will enjoy them so much more. With all that being said, this is Richard Cole. Let's talk sports. Peace. I'm out.